Well, I think it was really good. I think the effort was good. I think the conditioning was not quite there as far as from a football sense. Obviously, we can all go out there and run 110s all day now, considering the fact that that's what we've been doing all summer. But I think as far as the effort and the competition and the things that we were trying to get accomplished, I think we did a good job. I think we just have to build on that and try to improve for tomorrow's practice.
Something special for you in your first practice?
I thought about that, and it's funny how fast time goes by. I mean, I wouldn't say anything special, but it's definitely it's just strange thinking that this is my last go-round. This is the last season I have that I'll be wearing the crimson and white, and it's kind of bittersweet. It's been a fun run here, and but nothing out of the ordinary. I think for practice, I think just business as usual, right?
That doesn't change your approach at all, being the last time, savoring every moment, every time out?
I really do. I think, most of the time when you kind of approach things, you realize it could be your last. Then you approach it with more of a happy attitude. I don't have as many negative thoughts going through my head possibly, and I realized that with this just being the last go-round, just savor every opportunity that you have. I mean, whether that's to spend time with the guys in the locker room, spend an extra time, playing video games at night before we go to bed, just trying to advance your relationships with everybody on the team. And I think that's the thing and that's the part I'm going to miss the most is the camaraderie. So I just try to make the most of the little time I have left.
How'd it work out with that camera on your helmet?
What's funny, it was a little bit heavy. I mean, it's a small little camera, but it kept pulling my helmet down. It was pretty neat though, and I know from a viewer's perspective, I know I love being able to see that point of view. Being able to see what the quarterback's looking at and which direction his head's going and things like that. So hopefully it turns out to be pretty good material for the ESPN guys. But a little uncomfortable at first, but I think I got used to it after a couple of periods, and hopefully I'll get to wear it again.
Greg, how about this idea that the offense is going to carry the load until the defense catches up because of all the experience you guys have on your side of the ball?
Well, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. I think we're going to try to compete with each other as best we know how throughout camp. I think we don't really know what to expect from an entire team perspective. Right now, this offense has won 0 games. So we've had absolutely no yards rushing, no yards passing, and our completion percentage is 0. So we don't know what we have right now. Obviously, we have a lot of guys, we have a lot of talent, but does that translate to victories and successful outcomes? So right now, I think we're just all working to get better. As far as carrying the load or anything like that, it's something that's in our rearview mirror and something we're not going to have to worry about.
Williams said that the identity of a team oftentimes is formed in fall practice.
Absolutely.
How do you feel like the identity of this team is going to shape out?
Well, I think it's going to shape out similar to the teams that we've had in the past. I think we got a lot of positive leadership. I think we have a lot of guys who are willing to step up and just make the plays necessary. I think it's just tough to say. I think obviously this early in camp, I think it's tough to project or forecast an identity, but I think as far as the first practice, and if I'm to judge anything off of that, I think we have a very solid team, a very close-knit group, and a team that just wants to work to get better every day.
Can you talk about kind of the different feel coming into this year? Last year it was like, oh, how is this offense going to be able to keep up with this phenomenal defense? Does it feel any different to you at all coming in this season?
It does feel a little bit different. Obviously, having experienced it, all of us, and having a lot of guys coming back, and a lot of guys who had great seasons last year coming back, I think that makes us a little bit more comfortable with both the situation and with the season in itself. So I don't think it's necessarily something that's on our mind all the time. I think, like I said, and I've said it constantly, and it's going to become a cliche, but we're just trying to get better. I mean, what are things we did last year that maybe necessarily weren't up to par? What are the things we did last year that we might have struggled in? And just trying to improve on those situations and become a better offensive football team.
What is the extra challenge of getting better from a 14-0 season and a national championship? How do you get better?
Well, I think you just look at the things you didn't have as much success on. I think that's probably the best way to look at it. I mean, you can look at the things you did well last year. Yeah, that's fine, but learn from your mistakes is what I always try to do, and never try to make the same mistake twice. So the things that we struggled at last year have been really emphasized, and that's something that we're going to have to continue to try to work on. Maybe, for example, maybe one thing is third down. Our goal is 45%. We were just a hair over 39% last year. I mean, that counts for everything. That's passing, that's and running. I mean, we had more 3rd and 1s that we had to punt last year than any time over the course of Coach Saban's tenure here. So I think just looking at the things and looking at the glass half empty is probably the best way to look at it. Say, okay, well, we're average, but we don't want to be average. Everything needs to be above par.
Another one?
How do you let, you know, you always hear the challenge of success. What has that been like for you, having all of the accolades, all the praise going into this season?
Well, it's a different approach. It is, but I mean, I think we're all focused on the same thing. I mean, we're trying to achieve the same goals as we set for ourselves last year, and we reset our goals this year. And if you look at the structure of the goals, they're relatively similar. So I think you just, like I've said on many occasions, if you've been at the top, why would you settle for anything less? And I think that's what's pushing us now. That's pushing us and driving us, and that's allowing us to apply a little extra effort, maybe when practices are getting a little bit tougher.